Have you ever stood at the edge of a misty forest as dusk falls and heard a sound so raw, so piercing, that it stops you in your tracks? That spine-tingling screech echoing through the trees belongs to one of the toughest, most misunderstood survivors on Earth. Today on Wild Animal World, we're traveling to the wild island of Tasmania to meet the Tasmanian Devil, the largest carnivorous marsupial still walking our planet. On this late May evening, with the cool autumn air settling in, let's step into their world together and discover the real story behind the fierce reputation. Picture an adult Tasmanian devil standing before you in the soft light filtering through the canopy. They're built like a stocky, muscular small dog, low to the ground, powerful, and ready for anything. Males often weigh 12 to 14 kilograms and stand about 30 centimeters at the shoulder, while females are lighter, usually between 5 and 9 kilograms. From nose to the base of the tail, they measure roughly 50 to 80 centimeters, with a thick, bushy tail adding another 20 to 30 centimeters that serves as both balance and built-in storage. Their short, strong legs give them a determined, rolling gait, but they can explode into surprising bursts of speed when chasing prey or defending themselves. Their fur is predominantly deep black and wonderfully coarse, wiry and weather-resistant, the kind of coat that shrugs off rain and wind during Tasmania's damp winters. Many individuals carry striking white patches or irregular stripes across the chest, rump, and flanks. These markings are completely unique to each devil, like living fingerprints. Some animals are almost entirely black, while others flash bold white that catches the moonlight as they move. Their head is broad and square, dominated by an enormously powerful jaw structure. The mouth can open an astonishing 80 degrees, revealing sharp shearing teeth and heavy molars built for crushing bone. The snout often shows a lighter pinkish tone, framed by long, sensitive whiskers that constantly twitch as they read the night air. Large, rounded ears swivel at every sound, and those dark, intense eyes seem to miss nothing in the shadows. What truly sets them apart is that massive head and neck. The muscles are so developed that the head alone can account for a huge proportion of their body weight, delivering the strongest bite force relative to body size of any living mammal. They can crack bones like twigs and have even been known to bite through wire or cage bars when food lies on the other side. Add a strong personal scent they carry with them, and you have an animal that announces itself long before you see it. If the adults look formidable, their beginnings are almost miraculous. After a short 21-day gestation, the mother gives birth to 20 to 30 tiny, pink, hairless joeys, each no bigger than a grain of rice and weighing less than a single gram. Only 4 teats await them in her backward-facing pouch. It's a fierce, urgent race. The strongest joeys reach the pouch first and latch on. The rest do not survive. Those lucky few spend about 3.5 months developing inside the pouch, which faces backward so it stays clean while the mother digs and forages through rough terrain. Once they outgrow the pouch, she leaves them in a secure den while she hunts, returning with food. By 6 to 9 months, the young are weaned and exploring on their own. Interestingly, these juveniles are surprisingly agile climbers, scampering up trees to escape danger or investigate, a skill many adults lose as they grow heavier and more powerful. To appreciate how these animals came to be, we have to look far back in time. Tasmanian devils belong to the ancient marsupial family Dasyuridae. Fossil evidence shows their ancestors once lived across mainland Australia. They disappeared from the continent roughly 3,200 to 3,500 years ago, likely due to a combination of climate shifts, human arrival, and competition from dingoes. The island of Tasmania, cut off by rising seas, became their last stronghold. Here they evolved into the robust, bone-crushing scavengers and hunters perfectly suited to the island's forests, coasts, and rugged landscapes. European naturalists first formally described the species in the early 1800s. George Harris, a surveyor working in the colony, then called Van Diemen's Land, documented them around 1807 to 1808 and gave the scientific name Sarcophagus harrisi, flesh-loving Harris's one. Long before that, the Palawa people of Tasmania had known these animals for tens of thousands of years, calling them Purinina and even using their teeth in ceremonial necklaces found in ancient sites. Early settlers, startled by the screams and fierce feeding frenzies, quickly named them native devils, locking in a reputation that mixed fear with fascination. Walk with me now into their home. Tasmanian devils live across the entire island of Tasmania, from wet forests and dry woodlands to coastal scrub and even farmland edges. Imagine yourself on a cool autumn evening like today. Towering eucalypts rise around you, releasing that clean, menthol-like scent into the crisp air. The forest floor feels soft underfoot, carpeted with moss, fallen leaves, and ferns still damp from rain. In winter, mists drift through the valleys, and steady rain creates perfect conditions for devils to shelter in hollow logs, rocky crevices, or burrows they've dug. Summers bring milder nights perfect for longer foraging. The sounds shift with the seasons. Birds calling by day, the rustle of small mammals at dusk, and the occasional distant screech of a devil on the move. These adaptable animals don't demand untouched wilderness. They simply need cover, safe dens, and enough food to survive. In this living landscape, the Tasmanian devil plays an essential role as both predator and premier scavenger. By quickly devouring carcasses, wallabies, wombats, possums, birds, and more, they stop disease from spreading and keep blowfly and maggot populations in check. Their complete consumption of bones, fur, and organs recycles nutrients straight back into the soil, supporting plants and the whole food web. Without them, rotting remains would linger, potentially altering vegetation patterns and allowing small herbivore numbers to swing wildly. They act as the forest's quiet sanitation crew and population regulator, their presence creating ripple effects that benefit countless other species from insects and plants, right up to larger predators and the very ground beneath our feet. When night falls, these devils become busy opportunists. They scavenge enthusiastically, but also hunt live prey using sharp senses, long whiskers, and sudden bursts of speed or clever ambushes. A large carcass draws several devils together, and the noise is unforgettable. Loud screeches, growls, and dramatic posturing as they compete for the best spots. Despite the racket, serious fights are rare. It's mostly loud communication. A single devil can consume up to 40% of its body weight in one meal, and those powerful jaws leave almost nothing behind. When food is plentiful, their thick tails swell with stored fat, creating a natural pantry they can draw on during leaner times. This efficient lifestyle keeps the landscape clean and the devils themselves resilient through changing seasons. Adults have very few natural enemies. Wedge-tailed eagles or large owls might take young or smaller individuals, but grown devils rely on reputation and raw power. Their first line of defense is sound, an ear-splitting screech that carries far through the trees, followed by growls and snarls. They stand their ground, open those massive jaws wide, and will charge if pressed. That bite, the strongest for their size of any mammal, can inflict real damage. Picture a tense standoff. A devil facing a curious dog or another threat, screaming defiance, body low, jaws ready, refusing to yield an inch. This combination of noise, fury, and crushing power has protected them for thousands of years. Males and females differ in ways that matter most during breeding season. Males are larger and more heavily built, with broader heads and greater strength for competing with rivals. Mating occurs mainly in March and April, when males roam and challenge each other through chases and displays. Females carry the next generation with remarkable dedication. The life cycle itself is a story of high stakes and fierce devotion. After mating, the tiny joeys face that intense pouch competition right from birth. The mother nurses her surviving young for over 3 months inside the backward-facing pouch, a clever design that keeps them protected from dirt while she moves through rough country. She continues caring for them in a den for several more months, bringing food and safety. By around 9 months, the young disperse, setting off into new territories full of risk and possibility. In the wild, most devils live 5 to 6 years, though many face shorter lives because of modern pressures. In protected settings, they can reach 8 years or more. Along this journey, so many surprising details emerge. That backward-facing pouch isn't just convenient, it's a brilliant adaptation for a digging, foraging mother. Young devils' tree-climbing ability shows a hidden agility that helps them survive early dangers. Much of the dramatic fighting at carcasses is actually ritualized posturing and communication rather than constant injury. And perhaps most hopeful of all, some wild populations are beginning to show signs of natural resistance to the facial tumor disease that has challenged them so severely. Here's a fresh, fascinating fact of the day that shows just how complex their story remains. While the main strain of devil facial tumor disease has spread widely since the mid-1990s, a second, independently evolved strain called DFT2 is still largely confined to a small area in southeastern Tasmania. Scientists are studying both strains intently, not only to protect devils, but because these naturally transmissible cancers are extremely rare in the animal kingdom. Understanding how they arise and why some populations resist could reveal insights that reach far beyond Tasmania. Right now, wild Tasmanian devils are classified as endangered. Their numbers have fallen from roughly 53,000 to 56,000, before the disease appeared to around 15,000 in recent estimates. In long-affected areas, local populations have sometimes dropped by up to 80%. Yet real progress is happening. Conservation teams have built robust insurance populations of more than 600 healthy devils in zoos, sanctuaries, and on islands like Maria Island, where numbers have grown from 28 to over 90. Animals from these programs have been released into recovering or disease-free zones on the mainland, including fenced peninsulas where populations are stabilizing or slowly rebounding, such as on the Freycinet Peninsula. In parts of western Tasmania, some groups remain more stable with lower infection rates, hinting that natural resistance may be emerging. Challenges like ongoing monitoring, roadkill, and habitat protection continue, but the combination of science, community dedication, and the devil's own resilience offers genuine hope for the future. And there you have it, the complete living portrait of the Tasmanian Devil. From their bone-crushing jaws and tiny, courageous beginnings to their essential place in the wild and the people working tirelessly to secure their tomorrow, these animals embody toughness, adaptation, and quiet importance. They remind us that every creature, no matter how fierce its reputation, carries deep stories of survival and connection. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If their world moved you or left you curious, I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to Wild Animal World for more adventures into the lives of remarkable animals, and together we can keep celebrating and protecting the wild wonders all around us. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind to the natural world, and keep that spark of wonder alive. Take care, and I'll see you on the next exploration.